My name's David Toby. I'm with Datacolor. Datacolor is a color management company. We're well known in the still imaging industry for our color management products, particularly this little critter we've got up here, the Spyder, is probably the best known product Datacolor makes. That's a display calibration tool. So the way this fits into the field of video and photo into video, for those who start in photo and move to video, is that color management is how you control your workflow from one device to the next. So this is from source, meaning the lighting and the illuminance, through to capture, meaning your camera and the color flavor of your camera, through to the various types of displays you work on. That includes not just monitors that are hooked up to your computer, but also monitors that are running a video stream and other video sources, and through to your final output. So you need to connect each of those things to the next and linearize each of those things so that you end up with, for instance, normalization between different cameras you shoot with and so on. So those are the problems that color management addresses and that Datacolor addresses with our color management products. What I'm holding here is a Datacolor Spyder Cube. This is our smallest, most affordable product and the most complicated one to explain because it does so many things and it's so unique. So what you're looking at here is, in the simplest terms, a gray card. But it is a three-dimensional gray card. So what you're looking at is the opportunity to capture information about your light source from both your primary and your fill lighting on the same device automatically. It also gives you the opportunity to catch absolute black against card black so that you're in a position to know what your black zone looks like and set your shadow detail. There's also a specular highlight on the chrome ball against the primary and secondary white, so you can be sure you're blowing out your speculars, but at the same time be sure you are not coming close to blowing out your whites. Now, since this device is through pigmented and spectrally neutral, you're going to get a very good white balance under any lighting condition from the lighter gray face of this where you would do your balancing. So this can be used particularly with RAW cameras. So if you've moved up, let's say, to a Blackmagic or a Red, and you can shoot RAW, then simply shooting this device at the beginning of each scene is going to give you something you can take into your RAW converter and make your basic adjustments with. Now, as well as using this to adjust for RAW, you can use it to get your camera settings right in camera. That's particularly important when you're shooting DSLR because that's actually JPEG grade as opposed to RAW. You don't have the bit depth to be making major changes to white balance or major changes to exposure after the fact. So this is the Datacolor Spyder Cube. It's an odd-looking little device that does a surprising array of things. One thing you can do with this is do your RAW adjustments in post based on the information this cube will give you. Another thing you can do is use it for camera settings to get it right in camera, particularly important for JPEG shooting as you do with a DSLR for video. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to set it up so that you're facing the black trap in the front and you see equal amounts of both faces. Now, once you've done that, you're in a position to capture information about both the primary and the secondary light source, so you can check the color temperature of your primary light and your fill light. Now you have white and gray here, so you're going to have mid-tone control and highlight. And then there's a specular highlight that will show up somewhere on this chrome ball. If you're not blowing out the speculars, you're not using your exposure range correctly. On the other hand, if you can't distinguish absolute black from card black in the black face, then you have a different problem at the other end of your exposure settings. So with RAW, you can make any of these adjustments in post, but you also want to use this first to optimize your settings in camera. You're going to shoot this under every different light source. If I move inside, I'm going to shoot this again. If I move to another room with different lighting, I'll shoot it a third time. Every time this comes up in my footage, I'm going to correct to this. Now, the features here that you really want to be looking for is absolute black against card black for your shadow detail. Primary versus secondary light source, and of course highlight versus midtone, and then specular highlights here at the top. So it's an excellent tool for all of that. It also can be used for lighting setup. If I'm going to set up a set of lights for a scene, I'm going to put 3 of these on light stands, one a little lower to each side, one front and center, and then I'm going to build my lighting, and I'm going to check the values on this, see that my secondary lighting is the same color as my primary, or if it's different, that it's the difference I'm looking for. and you can look for fall off between your various areas within the shooting zone. So it has various uses, from setting camera white balance on down through to processing in post. So that's a very small product, very portable. I'll warn you, if you start using these, they're addictive. They're like salt peanuts. You'll want one in every photo vest and one in every kit, and 3 of them in the studio. So they're a great little tool, and I encourage you to try one and see if it improves the consistency and the color accuracy of your work. So the product we're looking at here is a color target, but I'm going to show it to you first as a gray target. So the cards in here have been reversed so that the gray faces are showing. Now this makes an excellent gray balance target. We have multiple video cameras in front of me. I can hold this up in front of each camera, and they each can gray balance on it. In fact, you can even bias the exposure by moving it up and down, where the patches are lighter or darker as you're doing your gray balance. So this is an excellent tool for gray balancing. What it does not do, what no target does, is tell you about primary and secondary light sources. If my average frontal light balance that I do from this chart is 6500K, that's great, but does that mean that my main light is 7000K and my fill is 5500? There's only one way I know to find that out, and that's to use a Spyder cube and to mount it on top of this, so you're getting primary and secondary light source information and absolute blacks and chrome highlights and the things you don't get in a target. So that's why we put a reverse tripod fitting on here on the top of this, so that you can mount a cube right on it. Now, on the bottom is a standard tripod mount, so that this can be set up on a light stand or a tripod. And of course, it's a closable target. You also can use it, as I just did for this shot, as a sound clapper. But mostly what people do with this is either use it as a gray target that allows you to balance, particularly for JPEG grade video, where you have to get the white balance right in camera. But here on the other face of these same replaceable cards is a full color target and an augmented color target. So here are the standard 24 patches on one side, but that's very limited in terms of skin tones, near whites, near blacks, partially saturated patches. So we've added a finer gray ramp, more skin tones, semi-saturated patches, near whites, near blacks, all to the target on the other face, so that it's a subtler target than the standard color target. These are all formulated pigment patches, long life, and our software allows you to create Hsl Presets from this target for Adobe Camera Raw, for Hasselblad Focus, for Lightroom. This is even supported now in DaVinci Resolve 11, so that you can use it automatically in Resolve. So this target is our solution for color flavor. If you have 2 cameras rolling, one of them is, let's say, a Canon and the other's a Nikon, or maybe you're using a GoPro for action shots, you can normalize the color on each of those devices, so that when you pull all this film into Final Cut or Premiere or wherever you're going, you already have it normalized through color correction, so that any flavor you add to it is going on top of the same corrected base level. So this is the Datacolor Spyder. This is our flagship product. The Spyder comes in multiple forms. They all do about the same thing with different software packages for different functions. Now, this is a Spyder 4, and it is currently being bundled in our flagship Spyder HD bundle. So what you're getting there is the Spyder is known classically as a computer monitor calibration tool. Now, at this point in time, it calibrates LCDs, CRTs, LEDs, all the different formats of displays, including plasmas and projectors, being used as a computer display, hooked up to a computer. Now, what's groundbreaking about the HD bundle is we've integrated the software. It now has not only computer calibration functions, but video reference display, video field display, and television calibration functions in the same piece of software using the same Spyder. So that allows you to calibrate virtually everything in your video chain with one device. Now, the methods of calibration are different, but the end result is that you have consistency between devices and across your workflow. Let me tell you about how you're going to use a Spyder to calibrate video. This is a new function that you'll find in the Spyder HD bundle. What you're going to be able to do is use a standard Spyder like this to calibrate field displays, such as this Atomists field display that we have here on this Canon. We'll look at that in a moment. Or large reference displays. There's a Plura Studio display, a broadcast quality one behind me that's been calibrated with the Spyder. or any other type of reference display. Now, the advantages of working with a proprietary device such as the Atomists Spider for the Atomists field displays is that you're in a unique position to communicate directly with that device. This is a recorder as well as a small field display that can calibrate to Rec. 709 with the Spyder. And the advantage of doing that is you can actually trust the color you're seeing in the field, so that, you know, when your dailies come up, they look pretty much the same as what you were seeing as you were shooting. Now, when you want to do that with a broadcast quality display, the Plura displays will actually run Plura's own proprietary software using the Spyder to calibrate that display automatically. If you're using a brand of display that's not yet integrated to the Spyder, then you can use Datacolor's Spyder HD software, and what that will do is allow you to adjust 5 or 6 key functions in any type of display using the controls that virtually every display has. So this allows you to adjust brightness, contrast, color, tint, white point preset, and sharpness. And with those adjustments, you can tune most any display to give you a reasonable preview and a reasonable output. Calibrating monitors, meaning computer monitors with the Spyder, is the classic use for a Spyder. This allows you to calibrate any type of computer display, be it a laptop display, be it an LCD, an LED, a wide gamut display, various formats. People even use plasmas as computer displays on occasion. All of those can be calibrated with the same Spyder. We have different tables within our software for different display types, so wide gamut versus standard gamut, or different backlights, all are accounted for so that you get accurate results with a wide array of device types. You can calibrate to still photography standards. If you're working in Photoshop, you can calibrate to video standards, PAL, CCAM, Rec. 709, any standard you'd like to calibrate to. You can either use from a list of standards, or you can put in your own white point and your own gamma and make a custom target. So all of that's possible. You can also tune multiple displays side by side for a visual match using that software. And you can adjust your nonlinear editing station with this software, and then adjust your video reference display with our other component, our video reference software that's in the same software package now, so that you have a consistent relationship between your computer and your video. The Atomists Spider is a specially branded Datacolor Spyder 4, which can be bought bundled with or separately for people who already own Atomists displays. It can be used to calibrate the Atomists Samurai and Ninja lines of video recorders and displays. Now, what you're doing when you do that is running a proprietary patch cable between the Spyder and your computer and your Atomists display, running a piece of Mac or Windows software that will build a calibration and flash it to your Atomists display. What you're getting out of that is calibration, gray balance, proper gamma curve, and a Rec. 709 color space in your device. Now, the advantage of that is that being proprietary and built into the device, it's automatic. There's nothing you have to do other than plug it in and run the software. It's about a 3-minute process. Most people do it every 2 or 3 weeks. If you're working a new project, you probably do it before you started the project. So what you're getting is a Spyder. You can use either a Datacolor Spyder for Pro or Elite, or you can use an Atomists branded Spyder. If you buy a Spyder from Datacolor or already own one, you're going to want to get the special patch cable from Atomists to connect this with. Then you download the software from the Atomists site. It's free. And you're going to hook that to a Mac or Windows machine, and it's going to do the work for you and calibrate your display. We're really excited to be working with Atomists. They're a great option. And these high resolution, larger field displays can be used for more than just seeing if your image was properly framed or in focus now. You can actually do your field color judgment on them. You can do your first pass of checking that your color is correct on the device itself in the field.
For more information, please visit our website at www.digitalcinemacourse.com.